day, ladies and gentlemen. Today on the film Exorcist, we will be doing an interview with Anya Gorre, an amazing gore model and podcaster of the horrific and weird world of horror and podcasts. She might also be a future actor in one of my horror movies when I finally decide to become a horror director in the future. Cause, damn, those posts are gory. Now, before we get to introductions, I'd just like to give the people that support us first. Now, before we move on, I'd like to just announce that this video is sponsored by Animal. So go buy yourself some amazing low-priced anime merch, including cute figurines to brighten up your collection. And every time you use the code FILM, you'll get 5% off your purchases. And if you don't, the demons of hell will be at your door real soon. Now, tell us about yourself, Anya.
Well, I mean, you summed me up pretty good, but I am a horror model. Everything to do with horror movies, the horror genre, any sub-horror genre. I have been actively modeling, doing that genre for about a year and a half. And I have been modeling on and off since I was about 12. And during all of this time of modeling, I have really connected with a woman named Melissa from Malevolent Productions. She's my main photographer. And it really got me listening to a lot of horror podcasts. And I realized while doing all of that and listening to my podcasts that most horror podcasts involve two things. They review horror movies or they deal with true crime. And I wanted something kind of in the middle. So I created my own podcast called Horror and More with Anya Gorre. And every episode, I try to have engaging content and engaging guests, and we discuss various things, but we always end up discussing horror movies in some kind of capacity. So that's where I'm at. And this year, we're really going to be pushing the content limits and try to make things a little bit more graphic, so not things that you can necessarily find on my Instagram. So it'll be, Patreon content and very minimal amounts for people to pay to access, because I keep getting the boot. Either people are reporting me or my content is too explicit in nature. So
makes sense. Okay.
I find people either get it or they're very offended.
That seems to be the problem these days.
Yes.
Okay, on to our questions. So, how did you first get into horror?
Oh, I've been into horror since the 80s when I was a kid, so I'm kind of aging myself there, but I wasn't allowed to watch it, so anytime I would go over to a friend's house, that's the first thing I wanted to watch, and I loved being scared. I mean, I was actually legitimately scared at that age, but and growing into an adult, I've always looked for that same nostalgic feeling of fear. I don't feel it anymore, but I'm always looking for it.
Okay. Second question. What would you say is the hardest thing about being a horror model?
For me, the challenge is coming up with unique, creative images. I struggle with that. That's why I've been working really closely with a few photographers who are also these forces of creativity. I get inspired by watching horror movies, whereas a couple of these women, I work with a woman named Andrea, and I work with Melissa from Malevolent. They can create horror from basically nothing. And so that's been a challenge for me, especially with COVID not being able to shoot as much. I've been trying to really push myself to doing these creative shoots at home, and I just don't have that same creative mind. I wish I did, but I don't.
Okay, here's something you might actually enjoy, other than that last question. What is your favorite horror movie, and how did it make you feel? Or at least your first horror movie?
Well, my favorite horror movie of all time is Rosemary's Baby. I love everything about that movie. I love witches and covens. But the first horror movie that I watched as a child that really stuck with me was called The Changeling. And it's not the one with Angelina Jolie. It's a Canadian movie made in the 80s. And it stuck with me and resonated on so many different levels. I don't know if you've heard about that one.
I have not.
I don't really want to give away very much, but it involves a child death and a ghost. And when I watched it, I was around the same age. So I just really put myself into this kid's position, and it was terrifying. Just terrifying. But I recommend it. It's, dated. It's from the 80s, but it was great.
Hey, what are you talking about? 80s horror was the best out there.
I mostly agree with you. I do feel like there has been a recent resurgence of some amazing horror movies. The movie Us is in my top 3, and it isn't even that old. I have watched it more recently than any other horror movie aside from Rosemary's Baby. So there's been some good recent ones.
For me, I'd have to say that I'm a slasher guy. I have to admit that. The Wall will definitely tell that for anyone watching. My favorite has to be the remake of Friday the 13th.
Oh, I don't know if I watched that one. I watched so many now I can't remember. But that was your favorite recent one?
Yeah. Recent in terms.
Yeah.
I couldn't really find much in the old ones. Like you said, some of them look a bit dated. That's why not many people want to go back to the very first Friday the 13th. Because everyone knows the big secret. Everyone's seen the secret. And just, it feels a bit bland by comparison to the rest of the movies. Like Zombie Jason. Hard to say, but the Imposter Jason, which is another one of my favorites, and Hellspawn Jason. Yeah, but no, I like the old Jason and Jason just being woodsy. That's why I like the remake, because he runs.
He does.
And it puts fear in you, where the other ones where it's slow walker Jason, it just feels too close to Michael Myers, which is, yeah, he has a lot of screw-ups as well. But
fair enough.
The older ones, I would say, older than 2009, would have to be Final Destination, and what's the other one? Saw and The Collector.
I still haven't seen The Collector. I have heard nothing but amazing things about it.
Oh my god, you have to see it.
I know, I've been trying to find it. I'm in Canada, so we don't have the same movies on Netflix and Prime.
Do you have the internet?
I don't have Shudder yet. Don't even start. I want to get it, but I haven't gotten it yet.
No, look it up on, Movie 123, and you'll definitely find it. That's where I saw it.
Yeah, okay. I will, because I've been hearing really good things about it.
The best way I can describe it is Saw without a particular villain with a plot, and just the traps, without a way out.
Perfect.
Basically, it's like what's her name? Damn it, I'm forgetting the apprentice's name. But it's like how she'd kill them, or how Hoffman would kill them.
Okay. It's been a while since I've seen the Saws. They're not my favorite, but I love the premise.
I believe there was a more recent version of it that a lot of people liked, Escape Room.
Yeah, I saw that one.
That one, I think I watched a couple minutes of it. It could have been better.
Yeah, I'm with you. It was a movie I watched. That's about it. That's all I can really say about it.
And that's kind of hard to believe from, like I said, they remade Halloween, or reintroduced it, and it looks so much better.
You like the Rob Zombie?
Rob Zombie was okay. I liked the first one for a bit. Second one, I'm wondering what the fuck was that.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't like the second one.
It has nothing to do with Michael Myers. I like the gore. I like how he beats the crap out of those bar owners or strip club owners. But the horse.
I know, a lot of people struggled with the horse and his mother. I shouldn't laugh. I've talked about this in detail with people because I'm a big Rob Zombie fan. House of a Thousand Corpses is it's my other top 3 favorite horror movies, and I loved The Devil's Rejects, but I can't stand behind the Halloween ones as much as his other movies.
Right. And Captain Spaulding, be damned. Rest in peace, man.
I know.
He's my favorite. Got to say, he is my favorite clown.
Is he? He used to be mine until I watched Terrifier, and now I'm not sure.
I've heard of Terrifier. I've never seen it, but...
Watch it. It's awesome. It is.
I've seen, Carnage counts of it, actually.
Yeah, check it out. They made a second one. They got funding for the second one, so that's going to be happening.
Ooh.
Soon. Yeah.
But with Netflix, those movies are... No offense to anyone who really likes them. I did like their TV show Barbarians, because pagan. But the one movie I didn't really like was Stitches.
Oh, I've heard about that one. I haven't watched it. Did you enjoy it?
It's horror comedy. It's there. They're creative in the kills. They found a way to make it funny, but it's like what you would find on a newer, on a fan film, basically.
Right.
The effects are there. Everything's there. It's just the story is so stupid.
Yeah, there's a lot of those, especially on Prime. I don't know if you ever watch Prime.
Nope.
There's just a lot of those kind of movies where they're not even indie and good. They're just there. Where there's certain elements to them where the gore is good or the horror is good, but generally the storyline is just not there.
Right. But the Halloween I was talking about, that was the 2018. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, I tried. Everybody was telling me to watch it, and I did, and I didn't understand why everybody loved it as much as they did. Maybe because they got satisfaction because of her revenge, I don't know.
I just like the kills. And that it would have ended it perfectly. And I said this on my review of the movie. It would have ended so perfectly if they left him in the basement to burn, instead of sending the ambulance that we hear at the end, and just... We don't need a sequel. I'm saying that right now. We do not need Halloween Kills.
Yeah, I know.
Let the franchise die.
It's, in my opinion, it was done a long time ago, but...
Now, with Freddy, I like the remake. Full disclosure. I like the dark-ass humor. You never watched it?
I don't know, not the remake. I don't think so. I used to love the Friday the 13th. They were my favorite movies when I was, a young teenager. Mm-hmm. But as an adult going back and watching all of them again, I don't know. It didn't stick with me. The intellectual dialogue as a grown adult wasn't there for me, and I didn't find the kills were fun enough as an adult. Maybe I've just been tainted by too many newer movies. I'm not sure, but it didn't. It didn't maintain my love like it did when I was younger.
Well, here's a movie we can both agree was complete shit. Hereditary.
Really? Oh, I loved Hereditary.
Oh my god, the whole world is against me.
I'm a big Ari Aster fan. I loved what did you not like about it?
Well, to describe it best, I went with a big group, 4 of us, as like a blind date kind of thing. We're sitting in the theater, I'm watching it. Now, I'm enjoying the little girl dying. Yes, I'm a horrible person. I enjoyed seeing the ants all over dead, decapitated head.
Mm-hmm.
But then we get into cult shit and all this supernatural stuff. Now I'm thinking, was I not just watching a murder movie or a psychological horror of the guy trying to realize that he just murdered his younger sister? Because I don't remember ever reading that I was supposed to look for a demon in this or a cult movie. I mean, I just felt the movie didn't know what it wanted to be. Because he killed his sister.
Well, I've watched it a fair amount, and like I said, I'm a big Ari Aster fan, so I've read a lot about what he thinks about the movie and what his intentions were and what his the way that he filmed it and all of the actors. But the basic premise of Hereditary is that the grandmother, and this is a spoiler, obviously, so if anybody hasn't watched it yet, then I wouldn't keep listening to what I was about to say.
Maybe it just might be because I'm a slasher guy and I was more interested in the Conjuring films around that time.
Okay, Conjuring had more action in it from head to toe, so I get that. But, yeah, it's different. What I liked about Hereditary, because Rosemary's Baby is one of my favorite movies, I love covens, I love cults, I love witchcraft, anything to do with that sort of genre, so Hereditary fit right into there. Whereas the Conjuring universe, that movie was awesome. The first Conjuring movie was awesome. But, yeah, that was a little bit more about a demon possessing her. Right. Versus, I mean, this was a demon, but it was the cult and the witches that were resurrecting him versus a demon from the Conjuring looking to go into someone's body. So more, I guess, in the Exorcist realm. I watch a lot of horror movies. I could talk about horror movies forever.
I can see. Yeah, sadly I haven't watched many in a while since I kind of converted the channel over to more anime and normal shows and movies.
Right.
And I also realized that we completely moved off the questions.
It happens sometimes.
So, how did you get into being a Gore model?
Well, so, truth be told, I've got 2 kids. And when I was pregnant with my second child, I tried to find a photographer, so this is years ago. I tried to find a photographer who would do a Rosemary's Baby themed photo shoot for me, and I was told, no, nobody would do that. And so, not last summer, but the summer before, Melissa from Malevolent Productions was getting back into doing photography again, but she didn't want it to be engagement photos or baby pictures or anything like that. She wanted to really just get creative with it. And she approached me and said, would you be interested in doing this? And I told her that I was really aching to do a Rosemary's Baby theme photo shoot, and it just sort of went from there. We decided to do a slasher victim photo shoot for our first shoot together. And we shot for 8 or 9 hours, and we barely knew each other at this point, and it was just such a high, the creativity that she brought to it, and it just really, really reiterated to me that I love being in front of the camera, but I love being in front of the camera when it's gory and gruesome. And the outpour that we got from that first shoot was great, and it just got us wanting to do more and more and more, and that's how Anya Gorre got created. I wanted it to be as gory as I could, but without being booted off of social platforms. So we're always trying to push the envelope when it comes to blood and gore, but I like being doused in gore. I like being a victim, but I also love being a killer, and like doing as many different genres within the horror realm as I can. So it's been a good partnership with Melissa from Malevolent, because her vision and what she does. I don't know if you follow her on Instagram, but so she's got a small group of models that work with her, and I'm definitely the horror one.
Yeah, I think I recently followed her. I didn't really get to see much of the stuff, but I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. And most of my stuff is horror. I have a couple things here and there that aren't, but not my jam. I want to be brutalized on camera.
That can be arranged.
Yeah, it is a bucket list item to be in a horror movie. Definitely.
Now, what would you say is your favorite post out of all the ones you've done on Instagram?
I think my favorite shoot that I did was I was a demon, and I sort of started off in a circle. I'm wearing a pentagram onesie, and then I'm cutting my hands to kind of expose myself, and then this demon overtakes me, and I've got, black kind of coming over my skin and these demon horns. I really, really liked that one, and I can't wait to explore that character more.
Nice. So, when did you start podcasting? And I think you already answered this, but what do you actually hope to gain from it?
I started podcasting not that long ago, actually, within the past year. I've only got, I should know this, but I don't, maybe 8 or 9 episodes. And what I'm trying to do is bring awareness of hard to talk about topics to, a group of people that have always been attracted to darker things. And one of my episodes will be discussing this, but growing up, if you liked anything, if you liked metal, if you liked horror movies, if you wore black, you were ostracized for that. And, you were labeled as a certain type of person. And I've liked horror movies since day one, but I don't necessarily look like a stereotypical metalhead or an alternative person all the time. So I don't feel it's fair for people to ostracize you because of something you enjoy. And so I know that the people that are going to be drawn to my podcast are going to know what that is like. They're going to know what it's like to be judged or to listen to music that isn't as popular in the mainstream, or they want to wear something that doesn't look the same way, or they're a gorgeous woman who wants to do these crazy messed up, special effects on their face, and their family can't get on board with that. So I'm trying to appeal to people who like horror and everything with it, but then also want to talk about mental health issues. They want to talk about pain. I had one person on there that she talked about fibromyalgia. She has it and how she deals with it. I had another guest on there that talked about how she's polyamorous and she lives in a polyamorous relationship. And these are taboo topics that really a lot of people are afraid to talk about, and I don't want people to be afraid to talk about these things because this is our lives. And I think the more you know is the more that you know.
Right. I mean, obviously, to anyone seeing the video, I look nothing like what she just described, the metalhead, gothic, emo, whatever you're into, all black kind of clothing people. But my room can definitely go against that. I mean, I literally have nothing but blood and masks and gore on my walls.
But that's awesome, and that's one of the things that I want people to know, is that just because you look a certain way and like something doesn't mean that there needs to be a preconceived notion about who you are. And I get that all the time. I meet people or photographers, or, I did a music video, and these people assume I'm going to be one way and I'm going to look at one way, but then when they actually meet me, I'm not. And I like that, and I like talking about that because it's good these days for everybody to be open.
Yeah. Now, who's your favorite horror director? I have to ask that.
Jordan Peele just jumps to mind right away. I am so blown away by his movies. I mean, 2 of them. But Us, I absolutely loved everything about that movie. Get Out was awesome. I just watched Antebellum. Now, that wasn't him, but that was his production company. And I absolutely loved the story. I thought if you haven't seen it, it's very applicable to today. And I love his vision. I think I'm a similar age as him, so I get all of his references. Mm-hmm. And then for brutality, I love Rob Zombie. I do.
Actually, I gotta say something about Get Out. I loved it. I did. Just that car scene at the beginning, the music kind of felt out of place.
I don't remember the music. You're talking about when they hit the deer?
All I remember was a yellow car and just really upbeat, happy music in it.
Yeah, that doesn't really fit. I mean, that's what I kind of liked about the movie, though, that it had these small comedic moments where it was really trying to throw you off of the actual terror of what was happening. And I like that.
Right. I'd have to say, for me, always been a Wes Craven fan. Always. He's like my idol out there because of the Friday the 13th. Because of the Scream and Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
Yeah, the Nightmare series are amazing. Love those. And Scream.
Friday the 13th I would contest with. Like, they've got their screw-ups hugely. Like, the Final Friday, a lot of people are going to shoot me down on this, but the second one wasn't my favorite. Because it just felt like, and it's the biggest part of it, but it felt like too much of a gay allegory. Despite what Rob Zombie wanted to do, not Rob Zombie, despite what, actually I don't know if that was Wes Craven doing that movie or not.
I feel like he only did a few, and then I believe, I'll look it up here as we're talking.
Wait, now I remember. He did the first one and the third one and New Nightmare. He had no part in the second one, and that makes more sense. Because it feels like what Halloween tried to do with Season of the Witch. They went out of their comfort zone, they brought him to real life, and some might say it was like one of the first gay horror movies. That could definitely be wrong, but
I would be interested. Maybe I'll rewatch those. But I did a podcast about Horror of the Witch recently, just around Halloween, and we did a review of it. And I really, really got to finding out about the intention of that movie. And I had no idea. It's people either love it or they hate it, and they don't understand why that movie had nothing to do with Michael Myers. And I found out that when they made Halloween 1, the intention was to have Halloween 1, not to have Halloween 2, but to have Halloween 1, Season of the Witch, and then they were going to have a third Halloween related movie with The Mask, but then it wasn't going to be connected. And because the first Halloween did so well, they went on to do Halloween 2, and then the director and the writer wanted to proceed with Season of the Witch, and that they kind of got halted there and didn't get to complete this trilogy that they had initially hoped to do. And then that's when this series got bought out, and they just went off on a tangent and did all of these other Halloween movies. And so when I was watching Season of the Witch, I watched it from a really un-Halloween bias, knowing that it wasn't meant to be a Michael Myers movie. And so I'm curious if maybe they were trying to do that sort of thing then for Friday the 13th, if you're saying one of them was sort of out of whack a little bit.
Yeah, they were doing no, I think what they were trying to do with the one that I mentioned, the imposter one was okay. They were just trying to add a little fear that, Jason might still be alive, could he be immortal, maybe, and now a lot of people are disappointed. I mean, again, I've said that was one of my favorites, almost because the music, just amazing music in that one movie from Alice Cooper. And actually one of the dead girls, the one that gets not a curling iron, the knife shoved into her stomach, which was supposed to be her genitals, but she looks very similar to one of my best friends.
Oh, that's neat.
And the not ninth one, I'm trying to go through this because there was, the ninth one. That one just, they wanted a way to create the crossover with Freddy, basically. And they wanted to see what they could do with, if Jason was blown up and just completely gone, what would happen if that happened? And it just went into Jason's actually a demon since he got resurrected, and because of the Necronomicon, and I think it was also supposed to connect to the Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash comics, which
I've heard about those. Have you read them?
I think I read only like 3 out of the 5.
I would love to see that. I'm a big Evil Dead
fan. I mean, it claims that Ash was supposed to be connected to Freddy and Jason, like he was one of the counselors years ago, but and it goes into this whole world domination. Jason and Freddy want to control the entire world, like the Doomsday villains of the old. Or like Stewie in that one 2-parter from Family Guy. And it's... Now, I think I read the other 2 parts online. I can't completely remember, but it was supposed to be a combination of all the Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street survivors. But it... And they killed what's-her-name again, the girlfriend.
In Friday the 13th?
No, from Evil Dead.
Oh, in the first, or in the series, or in the first movie?
The first movie. Okay. Whatever her name was.
But yeah, I don't remember her name either. But yeah, she dies pretty quickly, actually.
Either that or he dated someone else or dated the girl from, I want to call it Walmart.
Oh, yeah, so they put that into the series. Did you watch this series?
I never did.
Yeah, he's working in a Walmart kind of store. It's not a grocery store, but yeah, it's kind of like Walmart. You should watch it. Do you like the Evil Dead series?
Honestly, I think I've only seen the second movie where right before he goes to the past. And I've seen, I think, most of the remake.
I found the series was a lot more comedic, like Evil Dead 2 and then Army of Darkness.
Yeah, but the problem is I've never been a fan of horror comedies. That's why I hated Pinocchio. I hated the second Jack Frost, and maybe a bit of the first one. Now I'm going down the list of all of the movies that I've ranked terribly during my horror phase. I hated Demons. Or Demoni, or whatever it's called. That Italian horror movie. In the movie theater. It just didn't feel scary. Like, you knew that these were characters in costumes. You really couldn't think of them as demons. Now, if they looked like that creature in the basement from the Evil Dead movies, then I could have believed that they were demons.
Right.
And Italy wasn't that good at that.
Did you like Cabin in the Woods?
I do like Cabin in the Woods. I did like that. Actually, when we were doing the horror phase, now, I had an editor 2 years ago named Cameron that has not been on the show in a while, and for that, we talked a lot about the weird aspects of the horror movies. Like, there's so many, what do you call it? Flashes. Like, underwear flashes on the screen. And this one, it felt like Fred 13th when they just, very beginning, they pop in and we're watching the girls throw the football and all you see is the undergarments.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a big part of horror movies. I mean, they made that a big part of the Fred 13th during the 5th movie, but now that I'm older, I'm realizing that it may be a bit stupid now.
Well, I mean, being scared and goes hand in hand with, for some reason, being turned on, and so horror is sexy.
It definitely is. Okay, next question. Have you ever been to a convention like HorrorCon in New Jersey, which is what we have here in New Jersey, or... Yeah, I can't think of any others.
Not horror related, but I went to our Comic-Con, the last time it was open. Actually, Bruce Campbell was supposed to be there.
Ooh.
And I went specifically to see him, and he didn't end up showing up. I was pretty bummed. I did get to see Corey Feldman and Christina Ricci, so that was something. But I'm not a comic book person, and I don't read graphic novels, so I'm not very well versed with a lot of the stuff that's there. But I plan to go back when it opens again, and I want us to bring a horror element to it. I think we're actually going to get a booth in the Vancouver Comic-Con when it comes back. It's called Fan Expo, but yeah.
Yeah, actually, I'm very proud of the conventions that we have here. We had I think when I went, the only time I went, we had most of the cast of the first Friday the 13th. So, well, Alice, we did have the girl, Ginny, from the second movie, the cop from the first movie, and we also had, one of the two actors that played Michael in the first movie. I'm trying to think.
Jason or Halloween?
Halloween, that's what I'm trying to say. Halloween. And we also had the third Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or the Leatherface of that movie.
Oh, see, that's awesome. I wish we had horror conventions here, but we don't.
Well, I mean, it was pretty small. We also had Mr. Feeney there.
From?
Boy Meets World.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I remember the teacher. Or the principal.
Feeney! Oh, I love that show.
I haven't watched it in a long time, but... oh yeah, TGI Fridays.
You too. Wait, what? Yeah, I'm now confused.
I'm assuming I'm older than you are, but we had TGI Fridays. It was Boy Meets World, Step by Step. Oh my goodness.
Oh, you're talking about the thing on ABC.
Whatever it was, yeah, I don't remember. It's been a really long time, but yeah, they had it was every Friday. It was just bang, 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 back-to-back shows that were really entertaining to young teenagers.
Yeah, I mean, I think we used to have that on Disney and Cartoon Network, and then shit hit the fan, and now we've got all these stupid cartoons like Teen Titans Go, or whatever that amphibian thingy they have on Disney, or... Full disclosure, I miss Toon Disney. I grew up with that for like the maybe the last 2 to 3 years that it was on.
Okay, I didn't watch that. I'm not familiar.
So you've never heard of Hercules, the TV series?
I've heard of it, yeah, but I never watched it.
That was also the first place you could find DuckTales and Rescue Rangers.
That's right, I remember those. I just sadly got Disney Plus, and we were trying to watch DuckTales with the kids, and they just didn't want to watch it. It was sad.
Well, probably because they're more interested in the newer one.
They are, yeah.
Ooh. I also grew up when, near the ending of all the Disney teen shows, like Phil of the Future, That's So Raven, Proud Family. So
yeah.
And I missed a lot of the older ones. Sadly, I grew up in the 2000s, so yeah, boo me. And the one game, or the one channel I've always missed that I was really aggravated that they got rid of for, I think it was either Nicktoons or Team Nick. I missed the Nickelodeon game shows.
Oh, did you? Yeah, my sister watched that stuff. I was a bit older at that point.
Oh. Well, I mean, they still have similar shows to it out there, but sadly it's like, you gotta go on, there's this Star Wars version of it, of the Temple of the Hidden Island, or whatever it was called, and it's, they call it Jedi Training, or Jedi Academy.
Okay.
But it kinda loses its touch, because it's a kid's show.
Right, of course.
Where the other one, it was a full giant studio with all these game show aspects and the giant temple.
Sounds like it would have been fun.
It would have. I honestly wish I could have been on the show at least once before it got shut down. But then again, they're bringing them back.
It's true.
Be it terribly. I mean, they think they can bring all that back. You can't do that without Keenan and Kel.
Fair enough. I wonder how old they are now.
Hard to say.
30s, maybe?
I'd say, because it was like the 90s, they were in their teens, so I'd say around 30s, 40s, maybe 50s.
Yeah.
Well, we've got one question left.
Okay.
Is there anything new you might be planning on trying this year?
I mean, aside from pushing, I want to do stuff that I kind of almost want to be offensive. Maybe that will be my big goal this year. I don't know. I want to do things that have it, the images aren't out there. And so as an example, we've got this big shoot that we've been planning where I'm not going to give too much detail away, but my body is going to be covered in burns. And it'll be gory and detailed, and I'm going to try to post that stuff out there anyway, and I know that somebody's going to be offended because there's going to be religion involved, and I just want people, I want to push it. I want people to see my stuff and not understand if they like it or are offended by it, but want to keep looking. And then once COVID is done, I really want to go to California and go check out some horror-related conventions out that way.
Be careful of the heroin addicts out there.
Have you heard of East Vancouver in BC in Canada?
Never heard of it.
No? Okay. Yeah, we deal with a lot, and it's not just heroin, it's crack, it's fentanyl, there's a lot. We have other provinces that will take their homeless or their drug addicts, and they will actually put them onto buses and ship them out to us. So our level of crime for being a smaller place is very high. And so I'm not saying that I'm, necessarily exposed to it on a day-to-day basis, but it's in the media all the time. I see crackheads when I go on my way to work, so it's just sort of, that's not new to me.
Oh, welcome to the United States. It's all over.
Yeah, that's true. We'll see if I'm even going to be allowed into the country in the next year.
You never know. They could pull back their bullshit that they're trying to do out there.
Maybe.
Not saying anyone out there, don't come at me. Don't come at me on this wristband that I'm wearing. But I'm going to say right now, go to hell anyone that comes onto this channel talking about politics. I'm trying to keep that on Twitter, not here. Go away.
I get that.
We will discuss this another time when I decide to flip you off. Yeah, it's a shit show out here.
Do you get a lot of people wanting to talk?
Oh, no. No one ever comments on these videos except for the only other connection to horror I have, Wolf Entertainment. And even still, he does like the little cheesy horror things like Goosebumps, Are You Afraid of the Dark, or he did do the entire Haunting Hour and shows like that.
Nice.
We actually did do a collab, like, I want to say 2 years ago, maybe last January, of our favorite and least favorite Twilight Zone movies or shows.
Oh, have you been watching the new one?
I watched like the first 3 and then I kind of dropped off it.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. I dropped off at about 3.
I was right before the kid that becomes president.
Oh, I haven't even seen that one yet. The last one I watched was with the guy on the plane.
Same.
I mean, it was fine.
But it doesn't live up to the old ones.
Yeah, it's not the same.
I mean, actually, me and him, we get into a huge fight over that one mannequin. The 13th floor, I believe it's called.
Yeah, it's been a long time, but I need to pull them up and watch them again.
Same. I mean, I only watched, like, those 10 episodes, and I watched, like, I think the first season, but I never got back to it.
Yeah. There's just so many things to watch.
Actually, one of the shows that me and my mother were watching, like, on and off, and she kind of left me behind on it. We were watching The Ranch. Really good show with most of the cast of the original 70s show, and, what's his name? The car guy. Really deep voice. Sam Isley or something like that?
I don't know. I didn't really get into the 70s show.
Neither did I, but I just remember a lot of the cast.
Mm.
Like Ashton Kutcher, one of... an amazing actor. That's the best I can say about him.
Yeah.
I really liked Lucifer.
Yeah, I didn't watch that one. I haven't. I don't find horror TV shows very good, generally. I liked American Horror, and I'll say this is my version of Hereditary for you, but I absolutely hate The Walking Dead. I thought it was awful.
I agree. I watched up to, I think, the 7th season, and just, it lost me. I didn't even make it past Negan.
I couldn't. I tried to get up to season 3, and I had to stop. I thought the acting was terrible, the writing wasn't good, and it just didn't hold me. I don't know.
It didn't feel like a zombie movie, I can say. No. Romero did a better series, and he created the really crappy, I want to say, Dawn of the Dead or whatever it was. Yeah. Not Dawn. Day of the Dead. That's what it was.
That was the one where they were faster. Yeah.
I mean, I liked the first 4, but I refuse to watch the one where it's the college students going through a school of zombies.
Yeah.
Or I think he did trying to keep up with the Blair Witch. I think he did a found film zombie movie.
Did he?
I think I'm assuming. I think that was right after the college one. Or high school, or whatever it was. But I find it very brilliant that he was able to make it so zombies could become more intelligent.
Yeah, see, to me, that's not a zombie. That's more like the rage virus from 28 Days Later.
Yeah, but think about it. It's a zombie. They've got no brain.
Yeah.
They want brains. They want to eat people. But they're able to think even without that brain.
Yeah.
I just find it very brilliant. I think the closest thing I can describe it as is like what Resident Evil did with like the Tyrant and other creatures like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. But myself, I can't get into zombies. I've tried and I just can't do it. I just don't care about them. They're boring to me.
Agreed. In some parts. I mean, there are some good ones. I mean, anime did one where it's a zombie girl that someone brought back to life and wants to date her. iZombie did something really good with zombies. Somewhat.
I've heard. I don't know. I can't do it. I just find there's too many other interesting things to watch.
What about video games? Any horror video games that got your view?
I haven't played video games in a while. I mean, I loved the Friday the 13th on Nintendo. I don't know if you ever played that.
Nah, I never did. I've always looked at it as, why is Jason... No, and I'm thinking of Halloween or Texas Chainsaw Massacre on the NES, where it's this purple guy going after these blobs.
Oh, no, Friday the 13th was kids.
Still,
I enjoyed it.
I think the closest I ever got to that was it was a really old Flashpoint game online where it was like one of those escape games, but it was... You ended up fighting Jason at the end after trying to escape the cabin.
Right.
And it aggravated me so much. Me and a ex-best friend kind of ended up losing it so many times, we finally beat it after button mashing. And I always hated that game, and I'm surprised I can remember it. But yeah, no, I've kind of... The closest I've played was, the Friday the 13th, the game, the newer one, that sadly fell through. Because of the huge discussion of, oh, who should get the money for these movies?
Well, of course there is.
And now, we don't get Metal Jason or Uber Jason. That's who he is.
Uber Jason.
I really want to destroy people with the... I don't want to call it carbon freezing. Liquid nitrogen.
Right.
But that will never happen. On the bright side, the same company is doing Evil Dead.
Cool. I would love to check that out.
Yeah, I think at the Gaming Awards, I believe they're called, they had a trailer for it.
Nice.
And it looked really good. I think they've got Bruce Campbell coming back for it, and the girlfriend.
Perfect. As it should be.
But if it's like Dead by Daylight, I may drop it.
Yeah.
Because I can never get into that. How do you fight a killer with just a flashlight?
Yeah, I feel like that would be a bit tedious.
And, like, literally, that's the only way to fight them back, where you've got this barreling killer, and even as the killer, you hit them, and you gotta wipe off your blade. Like, I don't think this is a good time to clean off your weapon when you've got the victim right there, waiting for you to kill it.
Yeah.
And then there's the tree aspect. You gotta go bring it to a hanging hook, slam them on it, and they can get off it.
Naturally, because people can get off hooks. That's normal.
Yes, but then if you want them dead, it takes like 5 minutes for the entity, as they call it, to kill you.
Right.
And even then, the players are just assholes. I mean, and this happened with Friday the 13th too. You go on there, you've got these kids telling you, oh, you're terrible at this game. Get the hell off our game. You don't know what you're doing. Why are you even here? And then they start and these are little kids. And then they start throwing racial slurs at you.
That's not nice.
This is supposed to be a fun game for horror fans. Not little kids who should go back to playing Fortnite and stealing their parents' credit cards.
There you go.
Now, I'm not endorsing that. I am not endorsing that. Don't waste your parents' money.
I'm pushing my kids off from playing video games as long as possible.
I mean, they're not that bad. There are still good ones like Halo, Call of Duty when you're not paying for it.
Well, that's the thing. It's just so expensive, and it's a whole world that you become a part of, and you're constantly wanting to upgrade.
Well, I mean, there are a lot of games that do stay away from that. You just gotta find them. I mean,
my son has really, really been into Minecraft. I mean, he's only 5.5, so we're at that age, but
I could never get into Minecraft. My brother could, the youngest one, but I do not like building things, to be honest. That's the whole aspect.
You gotta like building things in order to,
Exactly. And to build on that, I also was never a fan of the survival games like Ark. There were more. I'm having trouble thinking of them. I think there's also a newer one, which is more in my style, Grounded. But I find it a huge pain to go around, build a fire, dismantle the fire, hunt down creatures, and build your gear. Like, that's for those crafting people that played World of Warcraft and wanted to create their own business.
Right.
Me, I just want to kill things.
Fair enough.
That's why I played Roblox. I mean, yeah, there were some aspects of building it and it wanted to be Minecraft, but there were also a lot of fun games you could play. Actually, there is a series out there that you might be interested in if, like, you're into mysteries and stuff like that. I believe it's called, it's something Stories.
Oh, is it the new one? Is it where they take the old stories, the old, not myths, but sort of legends, and then they've applied them into current time, and it's like a series of thriller based on these old...
I think so. I think I'm thinking of the one where you're solving a mystery of a murder, you're stuck in a town, and then I think there was one on a boat. Let me look it up. The Dark Pictures, that's what it's called.
The Dark, okay.
Where it's, one of them is called Little Hope, and the other is... Where is it? It's like an anthology game. And to be honest, I tried playing it with a buddy of mine that I've played like these two-person co-op games with, and first the game shut down on me because horrible internet connection, and then it's boring. It starts out very slow and boring.
Gotcha.
Like, there's a demon, there's this family, they die in these horrible ways, and then you get to the actual story, which is the group of students, college students, and their teachers, and you're trying to find a way out of this town that you're now stuck in. And just the walking on top of it, it's like, I want to describe it as similar to what you did in the original Resident Evil games, where you were just first person. No, third person, that's what it's called, where you're just... The camera's always moving around.
Mm.
And you can never go in the way that you want to go.
Gotcha.
But honestly, I just want a game similar to Friday the 13th, where you're playing the killer and you kill all these counselors. That's why I was so disappointed that we never got the Friday the 13th. I mean, the Nightmare on Elm Street one, or a Halloween one. Instead, whatever it's called, the studio that does Dead by Daylight bought out Halloween and bought out Friday the 13th and put them in there instead. And now we can never get them back.
Right.
It's just, it sucks. It sucks with all these rights and... Oh, you need this to create a really good game, and it just never happens.
I gotcha. I'm not a gamer, so I'm not very familiar with it.
Well, don't worry. The world of movies is also getting screwed over right now with COVID going on, and I think someone said it best. I can't remember who it was. They said that this might just end up being the end of all theaters, all cinema, big name, big screen cinema, and it might just end up turning into fan films, mostly, like what John Carpenter used to do.
I hope not.
I mean, I'm not against it. I mean, it would be the end of, oh, should we create this very, very stupid way of making movies where everything has to be explosions and way over the top backstories that make no sense and just unneeded romance?
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
I mean, just kill the bastards. We don't need to know. And a lot of people have said that this might be the actual problem to movies, that everyone wants to see a gore fest. They don't want the actual story anymore.
That's true. I do find after Saw and Hostel and those movies came out, that's what everybody has really been into, is just this extreme gore.
And I don't blame them. I'm one of them. That's why I watch all those slasher movies, because, well, I enjoy the killer's point of view and what happened to the killer. I just want to see those damn teenagers die.
Totally.
No matter how unlikable they may be.
Yep.
But now we're going into all the supernatural movies with, like, Paranormal Activity, which I was going to do a review on that. Then I decided, do I really want to watch a fan-made or fan film-esque movie of cameras?
You haven't seen those ones?
I have not seen them.
I enjoyed the second one. Did you watch The Blair Witch? The original?
I watched, like, parts of it. I think I watched the second one instead.
Oh. No good. Yeah, I mean, I get it.
I mean, I was into the Contagion for a while, or Contagious, whatever it's called. The ones that came off of Rec after a while, and the only one that was on Netflix, actually, was the one on the plane, and I enjoyed that.
What was that one called?
I don't remember. I think it was Contagion 2.
Oh.
But it did go along with that zombie aspect, but you never saw the zombies.
Right.
So it was like, I'm trying to think of that one movie. I think it's like the beginning of, Quiet Place. where you never see the aliens except for a blur.
Signs?
Never seen signs, but don't you see those aliens when they splash the water on them?
Oh, yeah, you do. Yeah, no, you're right. You do see them a few times. It was very disappointing.
Let me guess, they were like the generic Martian?
They were a little bit more like Greys, so kind of a combination of the two.
I thought Greys were the typical Martian, the big-headed, gray, black-eyed creatures.
Well, there's the green kind of Martians that they created in the, I don't know when that would have been, when Roswell happened. But then there's the Greys, which are taller, slender, more of a gray. I mean, I don't know. I'm not an alien expert, but I know that they do have varying levels of what they look like. And I think the one from Signs was, I think they were kind of greenish, gray, but it's been a while. I would have to see it again. But I don't think they were quite exactly what the Greys were, and they weren't exactly what the old Martians would look like. So it was a bit of a hybrid.
Oh, what was the...
I don't like seeing aliens in movies, I think. Unless it's the Alien series. They should be not... It should just be all insinuated. It should be...
Yeah, with that one, I could never watch Prometheus.
No, I watched it.
I watched every other Alien movie. I just couldn't watch the Prometheus series and all of those movies because it's not Alien. Let's get that straight. It's creatures Alien.
It's part of the series.
True.
They go to the colonies.
No, that's the problem right there. You're not technically isolated like you felt in Aliens. You're not scared that this big xenomorph is going to shoot acid at you and just kill you. You're not worried about that in these games. I mean, these movies.
No. Yeah. No, you're right. I actually found out that the alien itself in the first one, and I believe in the second one, is played by a man. I didn't realize that.
I think I knew that.
I thought it was all robotics, but no, it's an actual man.
Predator. Now that's one that took a huge fall. I watched the first one like 3 years, maybe 4 years, 5 years for the first time. I liked it. I enjoyed the setting. I enjoyed how it's supposed to be a military operation gone wrong.
Yeah.
The second one... Why are we watching Lethal Weapon with aliens? Now, I'd never seen Lethal Weapon before that, but I know the concept of Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
I never saw the Alien vs. Predator movies.
No?
I heard they were complete shit.
I mean, it was the same as watching, Freddy versus Jason. It's an interesting concept, and
it just wasn't done well.
Well, I mean, I don't know what they really could have done with them, especially with Freddy versus Jason. What else could they really have done with that story?
They could have given Freddy more screen time and more ways of killing people other than that one character, and that's it.
I need to see it again. It has been, I saw it in the theater.
Yeah, he only killed one person.
That's it, hey?
Yeah.
It's disappointing for Freddy.
I'm trying to think of his name. It was the guy whose brother died before him. And the words were burned on his back.
Oh.
The little message, I want you to give them a little message for me. Tell them Freddy's back.
I did enjoy that they brought his humor in that movie, because without that, then you've got nothing.
Exactly, but they did nothing with him. I mean, he almost killed someone, but then that whole bullshit with I can't kill anyone because I can't manifest my body because no one's afraid of me anymore bullshit.
Yeah.
And it's a good Friday the 13th movie. Without technically the Friday the 13th aspect, but
right.
It's not a Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
No, it's definitely more of a slasher, for sure.
Best I can describe it as is if I can't say if it's Puppet Master, because Puppet Master, that's all those puppets.
Mm-hmm.
But Jason's basically Freddy's puppet for a while, and then he pulls a Pinocchio and realizes, why the hell am I listening to this guy? I need to kill.
I will tell you, though, between the two of them, I'm rooting for Freddy.
He died.
I know.
Actually, there was supposed to be a sequel, I remember, but nothing came out of it.
Yeah, I remember them talking about that.
And I would have gladly seen it. I mean, we technically don't see Freddy after those movies at all until the remake, but
yeah.
And we definitely do see Jason. We see him in let's see, there was Friday the 13th 9, then then the Freddy vs. Jason movie, then 10, and then the remake. So, yeah, we see him in 10.
Is 10 in space?
That's Jason X, yes.
Yeah, okay.
They decided to go with the Roman numerals.
Right.
Which, I do really enjoy Jason 10. I mean, it was nice. It was isolated. It was in space, which usually is the folly of every horror movie. But you're still murdering people in very creative ways.
It's true.
Despite most of them just being stab, stab. Which, that might be one of the other problems with horror movies. Like, there's either the gun kills, or there's the let me pick up this knife, or machete, or glove, or pipe, or axe, or any other pointy object, and just stab you.
Yep.
And that's the problem. That kind of throws away the creativity. I mean, Urban Legend and Scream... No, not Scream. Never mind about Scream. They only did, like, two creative kills with the house explosion and then the girl killing herself by cat door. But...
Oh, on the,
Yes.
On the collage?
Yes, that's what I meant. I'm thinking of a Scary Movie.
Oh.
But yeah, no, they need to get more creative on how they're going to murder someone.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's, I think, one of the challenges these days with horror movies.
Which, I mean, actually, in the movie that I was planning on writing, I wrote, like, the beginning, and the ending. Mm-hmm. I actually came up with some creative ones in a way, but who knows if that would ever come to fruition.
Did you watch, speaking of creative kills, have you seen Suspiria?
I know the movie. I know it deals with a group of girls in, like, a church or something like that.
No, it's a creative take, and their kills are pretty cool. Especially if the remake is it's with Dakota, what is her last name?
Dakota Fanning?
No, the other one. The one that was in 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, I don't know that.
But basically what it's about is it's a group of women, they're dancers, and it's from the 70s, so the aesthetic is from the 70s, and I believe they're in Germany. Anyways, no, it's the 60s maybe? But anyways, it's basically these dancers, and all of the people that are running it they're a coven of witches, and so they have these really interesting, it isn't exactly like voodoo, but it's sort of like voodoo, where a kill will happen without anybody actually touching the person, because it's happening via a different source.
I'll have to check it out.
It's interesting. Yeah, the new one, I haven't seen the original in a really long time, but I loved the new one. I thought it was really interesting.
Because it almost sounds like Black Swan or Stage Fright.
Yeah, Black Swan's a little bit different, but that was basically her inner turmoil. But Suspiria, it isn't about one person kind of slowly losing their minds.
Right, it's about a demon or magic thingy killing people.
Kind of, yeah, through witches and stuff. Black Swan was awesome, though. I loved that movie. Sorry, I'm working now as we're talking.
No, it's fine. I mean, we're literally over time right now.
How long have we been?
About an hour, almost an hour and a half.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my paycheck is going to disappear real quickly. Because my editor likes to screw me over when it comes to money.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, no, we have a really good partnership. It's just he keeps asking me for a raise.
Oh, yeah, that happens.
Which I am never going to do. You hear me, Silva? No raise. And he's probably going to be flipping me off as he edits this.
Of course.
I mean, literally, he puts jokes in every video of me, or it's like those stupid memes where it's like, give me money, give me money, give me money. And
I like the ballsiness, though. You can't deny that.
He thinks if he gets enough people to comment or tell me to do it, that it's actually gonna happen.
Oh, I see.
Which it will never will.
Well,
Until, say, I get a huge paycheck. We literally just lost about 7 to 8 subscribers on the channel. Just last week. So we're back down to 290 from 298.
Aw.
Life is shit!
I know what that's like. When we started up, you're familiar with Patreon?
I am.
Yeah, when we first started putting some content on our Patreon, it was going up, and then you have to be so regularly posting and so consistent that the numbers just kept going down.
Right. I mean, I wanted to do Patreon, but no matter how many times I mentioned it, nobody cared.
Yeah, Patreon's a hard one. It's, I find, depending on what you're posting, they just don't want to pay, even if it's a small amount. If it's explicit content, they want to do OnlyFans, or they want it to be free, and yeah, it's tough.
Right.
It's tough making money in this kind of environment.
Well, I mean, not so much for the big channels that YouTube favors every day. I mean, I'm literally competing.
But they're working.
Not all of them. Not all of them. There are some that made YouTube their own job.
Yes. Yeah, well, I know some of the makeup artists, and, some of the Instagram celebrities, they can make, $50,000 a month, but they're having to work and film, for like 18 hours a day, and then they're editing for another 4 or 5 hours, and then sleeping and waking up and doing it again. So it just sort of, to me, that there's no balance there, but there's some people that's what they want to do, and so it's not a problem for them, and they get paid to do that.
I'd gladly do it. I'd definitely do it. It would make Silva happy, but you can't do it on a $400 paycheck.
No. I mean, you can really push for an Instagram presence. That seems to work for some people.
Yeah, all my advertisement is on Instagram, actually, and I have tried to make a thing out of that in Twitter, and with Twitter, it sucks. You literally can't get anyone to read it unless Wolf Entertainment decides to open their mouth. Where Instagram, I'm literally in political turmoil on there. And anything to do with Disney and their Black Lives Matter, Tinkerbell, and Ariel thing.
Tinkerbell and Ariel thing, I don't know.
They put black actors in the roles of Tinkerbell and Ariel.
In, like an upcoming movie?
Yep, in the remake or the live-action version of the original Disney Little Mermaid, they have a black actor.
Okay.
So it's supposed to be the original movie, but they just decided to create new songs for the black actor, and they just want a black actor. For the reason of diversity.
Okay.
Where with Tinkerbell, they just wanted... They've done Tiny Spark of Light in, I'm trying to think of the movie it was. It's the one with, Will Ferrell? No, not Will Ferrell. What's his name? The actor... Robin Williams.
Right, Robin Williams, yeah.
Whatever that movie... Neverland, I think it was called. Or Return to Neverland.
Oh, Johnny Depp.
No. Wait, was Johnny Depp Hook in that?
I thought that was... I can't remember.
I don't think he played in Hook. That's the movie I'm thinking of, but I don't think he was Hook. Two different voices.
Right.
Has the look. But no, I'm talking about Hook. But they had a... No, wait. No, that was a white girl. I'm thinking of Pan. That's where they had the little ball of light. And now they just want to add black woman.
And that's an issue for you?
The problem I see with it is they're doing it instead of trying to make a big thing for all the people that want a new black princess, which, be it they did just announce that they're making an African princess, a Mexican princess, and another African princess, but for the remakes, they're just doing it to say that they're being diverse when they don't even believe it.
So you don't stand behind them saying that they're being diverse?
I don't. I would if they were making new movies with new original black princesses that weren't just pandering to the idea of let's remake this white character into a black character, because we've done that for years with black characters becoming white characters.
Yep.
I don't like whitewashing. And I certainly don't like blackwashing.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'll say about that is because of the climate, it's better than the alternative.
Which would be?
No inclusion at all.
I mean, we could have all just balls of light playing characters in movies from now on. I would be happy with that.
Ball of light.
Hey,
that would be great.
It worked for Tinkerbell. Could work for Luke Skywalker.
It's true. That's very true.
Then we wouldn't have to worry about. Now, the bigger problem with that is all the people that are all for this. When you say, well, why don't they create like a Mexican princess or an Italian one, which, yeah, they've already done that, but already, like, Italian darker skin or Sicilian or something like that. Mm-hmm. They say, no, blacks don't have enough representation. We don't need any more Spanish, Mexican, Native American princesses. We just need black.
Yeah, see, I know, that's ridiculous.
Because they're really going after the white people, and they just want white people to lose the 50 other princesses we have, instead of giving the black people more than just Tiana.
Yeah, I mean, there should be more options, and I mean, children, especially younger kids, they don't watch that and know that the initial idea was for it to be a white princess or a black princess, right? So I really wish that the characters would be more diverse kind of all the time, instead of it needing to be this big undertaking of, I'm going to make more black princesses, I'm going to make more Mexican princesses. How about just a movie with a whole bunch of different races involved? That's one of the things I love about living in Canada and in Vancouver especially. There's no one real consistent color here, you know? I've got a whole bunch of different races that live everywhere around me, and we're all aware of all of these different races, and it's not an issue because it's everywhere all the time.
Right.
And I wish that would be sort of, instead of this grandiose idea that we're going to impress everybody and I'm just going to pick out and do a black princess and black only cast. How about just including them in more as you go forward?
Yeah, but that would be too hard for all those SJWs and PC people to understand.
Of course it would, because they'd be underrepresented. I don't know. I think people are looking to be offended, and that's one of the reasons why I want to kind of offend. Because I think this hysteria, being offended about everything, needs to slow down a little bit.
Right. And, I mean, even when they're being made fun of, they don't care. I mean, South Park's done it many times to make fun of them for how stupid they are being.
Yeah.
And they just either go after them, try to burn their stuff, or they riot.
Yep.
Or they just try to play it off as, and this is the biggest excuse for the Disney movies and all that. Well, my daughter's not going to respond. If she's black, my daughter's not going to respond to a white character. It has to be black so she can grow up with someone exactly like her. Now, let me be clear. There are black and white children that look at Ariel, and especially if they're redheads, they look at them, they say, oh, I want to be a mermaid just like her. Or I want to be a princess because they're one. Mm-hmm. That's fine. Go right ahead. Just be your own person. Yeah. Not a copy. And it's basically, if you think about this, with kids, they can tell the difference between black and white a lot of the times. They are a lot smarter than people give them credit. I mean,
absolutely.
At 5 years old, I could tell that Bear in the Big Blue House, that was an orange bear, not a brown bear or white bear like most shows. Mm-hmm. I could see that. Why can't parents see that their kids don't see color? I mean, one of my psychology teachers or student success teachers in college even said that kids do not see color until people show it to them or force them to realize it, or until they're teenagers.
wouldn't say that's 100% true. And the reason I say that is, like when I've been out with my kids, I've had my kids come up to me and say, "Mom, that person is brown. Like, where do you think they're from?" And, I'm not racist by any means. And so what I try to do is I allow them to see the different races as they should. There's different races, there's different cultures, and we should be allowed to acknowledge that and ask things. So when my kids have been around, say, Muslim people, and they've been doing some praying, I'll tell my kids, go over and ask them what you're doing. Am I Muslim? No. Do I pray like they do?
Yeah.
No. But the more information that we all have as a society is going to mean less ignorance in the future. And so I like that my kids are aware that there's people of other colors and other races and other backgrounds and other religions. And I want them to be inquisitive so that it doesn't turn into a negative thing.
Well, what I was trying to say actually was that kids don't see racism. That's the word.
Racism, yes. Because to them, they acknowledge, just like they see a white cat, a black cat, a large dog, a small dog, they acknowledge that these things are different, and they should, but they shouldn't turn that into a negative thing and saying, "Oh, I don't like that dog because it's bigger."
Right. I completely lost my train of thought. My father came in with a really old computer.
All good. I'm actually back at work right now, so I should probably log off and give this my full attention.
Right. So, guys, this has been our interview with Anya Gorre. It's been fun talking Gore. It's been fun talking about a lot of things. I mean, this was traditionally supposed to be just about horror and your channel, but we ended up getting into a lot of interesting topics, which people don't like. I mean, we definitely did complete your goal of offending people.
That is my goal. But you see why I made my podcast called Horror and More. I end up, I don't know,
going off topic a bit.
Diverted when I talk to people.
So, maybe she'll have me on her podcast someday.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been real fun. It's been fun talking in front of all you pagans, non-pagans, Christians, different race people, and fans of the channel and her podcast. Any last words, Anya?
No, not really. Thank you for having me. I can't wait to hear everything that we've discussed, and it's been fun. Thank you.
No problem. I'll see you next time.
Sounds good.
Have a great day.
You too.